Good morning. I'm Krista Benavides. It's BizDay New Mexico here on 1050 KTBL and 1050talk.com. This is the show where we celebrate local business, everything local, businesses and organizations, all the things that make New Mexico the land of enchantment. You can find me here every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. right here on 1050 KTBL and 1050talk.com. This segment is brought to you in part by Richard Quintana, the mortgage guy at CMG Financial. For all your residential mortgage needs, give him a call at 505-985-5113 or email at rquintana@cmgfi.com. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning. My first guest is Kaylin Johnson-Bay with Kaylin's Southern and Cajun Fusion. Welcome to the show, Kaylin.
Hi, good morning.
So tell us about the Southern Fusion idea.
Well, sure. When I first started off with business, I was doing just catering. We did different cuisines, but when I chose to do a restaurant, I wanted to pick something that would be unique to Rio Rancho, so I chose the Southern and Cajun Fusion.
That's exciting.
It is.
So I heard you say that you're in Rio Rancho, so that's a good reminder for me to ask you to give your contact information, because I'm sure people are already have their mouths watering and want to go check you out.
Yes, they do.
So tell us where you're located, how to find you, all that good stuff.
Sure. We can be found at 4300 Ridgecrest Drive in Rio Rancho off of 528 in Ridgecrest. We're on the north side of the shopping center with Albertsons and Target. We're next to the old laundromat.
All right. So Southern and Cajun Fusion. Give our listeners an idea of what that is exactly, because I imagine some people are familiar with Southern and they're familiar with Cajun, but not necessarily what the idea would be behind a fusion restaurant.
Okay, well, the fusion part comes into where we have a little of both. So on the Southern side, we would have fried catfish, sweet potato pie, collard greens. And then with the Cajun side, we have the jambalaya, gumbo. We also have red beans and rice, fried alligator, fried oysters, things along that line.
That sounds fantastic. And so how long have you been in business?
So I've been in business since 1997, but again, I started off with just doing strictly catering, Mexican food, American, Asian, so forth. And as far as the restaurant, I've been there almost 2 years doing the Cajun and Southern Fusion. It's been very well received since it's very unique for Rio Rancho.
Right. I live close to Rio Rancho, and I still don't know a lot of the restaurants there because it's not necessarily top of mind in terms of where to go. And so knowing that there's something available local, of course, this is what the show is all about,
yeah.
Local, but something that is different, because it's not, I mean, even though I'm a New Mexican, I don't necessarily always want the beans and enchiladas and, the New Mexican fare.
Yes.
So why don't you tell us what some of your guests or your clients' favorite entrees or selections are?
Absolutely. One of our favorite entrees are our catfish le bois, which is fried catfish smothered with crawfish etouffee. We sell a lot of catfish, and we also sell a lot of jerk chicken. I brought the jerk chicken in since my mom's family's from the West Indies, and since I like to cook different kind of cuisines, whenever I could put something in different, I do.
Oh, jerk chicken. I'm glad you said that, because I love jerk chicken.
Yes, and we do. We make our own sauce in-house for the jerk sauce. Also make all other sauces too, our Cajun, our tartar sauce, cocktail sauce. So it's really good. And also our fried okra is very popular. I forgot to mention that.
Nice. And so when can people come in and partake of these fabulous items?
Yes, we are open Wednesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. And we recently received our beer and wine license, and so that's been a plus as well.
Oh, that's good. So if people want to have a little bit of libation, they have that available.
Exactly. They have it with their appetizer, with their meal. So it's working out really well.
Nice. So one of the things that I often ask guests that are part of the show is how you got started in your business, because I think our listeners are often interested in maybe starting their own business or just want to make a transition. They're in retirement and so forth. So I always like to find out the backstory to, in this case, your business. So give us some of your background.
Well, so I started cooking when I was around 9 years old. I used to always love to cook. I watched the TV cooking shows, and next thing you know, I was making whatever I seen on TV. So then I started doing catering in the 90s. Then I went on to want to do the restaurant, and I would rent different kitchens, space, and finally this space became available. And I would sit in front of it on my days off, wishing it was mine. I keep coming back wishing it was mine. And one day I brought my mother with me, and we both wished it was mine. And I finally applied for it and got it. And it's been just really fabulous ever since.
That's fantastic. So you have this passion, and I was sharing with both you and the other guest before the show started about the fact that so far all the guests that have been on the show have that genuine passion for what they do, as well as the passion for making the community a better place in general. And so that's consistent with you. It's
true. I really love what I do. I enjoy cooking. I love tasting. I love watching my customers enjoy the food and everyone talking and laughing and eating. It just brings a great feeling. That's one of the things why the days I'm open are Wednesday through Saturday, because this way I enjoy the days I'm there, and then I rejuvenate on the days I'm not. When I go back in, I'm just ready full force to give everything I have.
And that's really important. I mean, I grew up in the restaurant or food service business as well, just because my grandparents had restaurants and my mom grew up in them, and she taught culinary arts, as a high school teacher and so forth. And it's a hard business. And so I think that's what oftentimes is the downfall of people in food service, is that they don't take that time off.
Yes.
And so the fact that you have recognized, okay, you need that rejuvenation time, and then you can give 100% when you're actually there, it not only pays off with the customer service aspect in terms of the relationships you have with your customers, but I imagine the quality, which keeps people coming back.
True. I have to really say, we have a lot of people that repeat business, and we haven't really advertised. Everything's been word of mouth, so that makes me feel like we're doing something right, and I really do enjoy being there. So it's really been awesome.
Well, listeners, if you're just tuning in, my first guest this morning is Kaylin Johnson Bay, and she's with Kaylin Southern and Cajun Fusion, and it's located in Rio Rancho. They're open Wednesday through Saturday. And give us the hours again.
Sure. The hours are Wednesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. And then we also do catering anytime, offering it 7 days a week.
And do you have a website for people?
Yes, we do. It's www.kaylinscuisine.com.
Kaylin's Cuisine.
And you can also find us on Facebook under Kaylin's Southern Cajun Fusion, and on Instagram under Kaylin's Cuisine as well.
Ooh, Instagram. You probably have some great pics of the options that you
do. Matter of fact, the pictures bring a lot of customers in when they see that. So that's really been a good idea to do as well.
Nice. I would be one of those people that would have the picture and say, okay, I want this. I don't know what it is, but it looks really good.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Nice. Excellent. So tell us, I heard mostly so far about your savory items. I imagine you do wonders with desserts as well. So talk to us about the desserts.
Okay, so our popular items there are peach cobbler, which we make from scratch, of course. Our pecan pie is really popular. We also have a delicious chocolate cake I made with chocolate buttercream frosting. And then we also have different things I do as well with coconut cream pie or coconut cake. And I'm trying to think, what else do we do that's really popular there? Oh, we make delicious ice cream as well.
Ooh, nice. You could get that chocolate cake with a la mode with some ice cream.
Yes, ma'am.
Nice. My stomach's already growling, and I had breakfast, so I'm sure our listeners are also being tempted as well. So in terms of the restaurant business, one of the things that we were talking about offline before the segment got started was the fact that as you were getting started, it was a little bit challenging getting personnel in. So what are the things now that you've got a set staff and people that are loyal and reliable, what do you think that you've done that has helped contribute to that, so that other people, as they may be starting their business or want to improve theirs, might be able to take some tips from you from a business owner or employer standpoint to help keep your staff?
I think the most important thing is that you have to have your standards. You can be flexible because everyone has different needs, but you have to have the standards and everyone needs to follow them. And once you have that understanding, you make it like a family atmosphere. Like we'll have an employee month, we'll get together and go to Baskin Robbins, or we'll have a seafood boil and I'll make enough to make sure the staff has it. And I just try to communicate with them and just have like a family kind of atmosphere too. It's not just business, which of course that's the main thing, but you have to also care about your employees too, which I really do.
And that's really important. I know when I'm working with my clients that are having issues with their team members, is that exact idea of setting expectations, setting the rules, if you will, or standard operating procedures, whatever they want to call them, because while adults don't necessarily like rules or guidelines, they appreciate them because they know then the boundaries of how to behave, right? Exactly. If there's too much flexibility, then they'll just take the ball and run with it, and then you don't have anybody that you can rely on, and
so true.
It's hard to depend.
Mm-hmm, it's very true, and they do like guideline and accountability and what's expected of them, and I usually have everything written down. We have little meetings, we have communication, and it just seems to work out. In the beginning, it was kind of, I wouldn't say all over the place, but it was different because going from catering to the restaurant was two different businesses altogether. So once we got them separated, it just seemed to fall into place. And my staff's been really, really loyal and reliable. So I'm really happy to have them.
Well, and working in the restaurant business, it can be a challenge because you're dealing with people that come in and they might be hangry, which is actually a word. It was added to Webster's Dictionary last year. And so that business in and of itself can be a challenge. And so if the staff has the support from the employer, then it's a lot easier to meet the needs of the customer.
Sure.
Even if they are hangry and wanting their food yesterday and so forth.
And you're right, there is such thing as hangry because I'm a hangry person too if I don't eat.
Yes. Well, and I've had different people that have come on the show that specialize in wellness and nutrition and so forth. And that one of the things that they say is that people's behaviors tend to become more challenging when they're hungry, when they're dehydrated. Mm-hmm. And so you get to deal with that firsthand when they walk in the door. And, luckily you have some repeat customers and you probably know them by now and they're going to behave better because you do know them.
Yes.
But, we're all human.
And that's the good thing of when someone comes in, they're usually hungry. No one comes into a restaurant not hungry. So they also know they can get an appetizer, or if I know that something takes longer to cook, like the blackened catfish, for instance, I may offer them something I have to taste that's new, and they really appreciate that.
Oh, that's a great idea.
This way they can stay satisfied until their food comes, and it just seems to work out good.
So do you all take reservations? Do you do special events? We have about 2 minutes left, so fill us in on that kind of information.
We do have special events. Every month we have breakfast, which is coming up Saturday, May 19th. It's our monthly breakfast, which will have beignets, shrimp and grits, chicken and waffles, mimosas, and some other items as well. And I forgot to mention we also do a delicious sweet potato pie. So that's going to be, again, this Saturday, May 19th, a monthly breakfast. It's 8 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Nice.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's every month, and then is that on your Facebook page?
Yes, on my Facebook page, and also I send out an email to my customers that are in the system. There's around 700 people I have emails to, and I'll send it once a month so they'll know to come in, and it seems to be growing each month bigger and bigger.
Nice. You might have to do it a couple of times a month.
I know they keep asking for it, so we'll see.
Right. Well, and that's great that you meet the needs of the customers and grow accordingly rather than just taking a risk and saying, we're going to be open these days, and then people don't show.
Right. And I think doing the breakfast once a month is really good because everyone rushes to come in. I think if I did every day or every weekend, it wouldn't be as popular. So with this, it's always crowded, and they're always there at least 15 minutes before I open, ready for the breakfast.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Well, we have about a minute left in this segment, so why don't you give your contact information and location again?
Yes, we are located at 4300 Ridgecrest Drive. That's off of 528 in Ridgecrest, in the shopping center with Albertsons and Target on the north side, next to the old laundromat. We are open Wednesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 8:30 p.m., and you can contact us at 453-3068 or visit us at our website, Facebook, or Instagram.
Fantastic. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on the show, and if you ever have any special events, make sure to let me know. We'll have you back on.
I'll do that. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Well, folks, that was Kaylin Johnson-Bay with Kaylin's Southern and Cajun Fusion, and be sure to check it out the next time you're in Rio Rancho. I'm Krista Benavides. This is BizDay New Mexico. We'll be right back with our next segment. It's on 1050 KTBL and 1050talk.com. Good morning. Welcome back. It's BizDay New Mexico. I'm Krista Benavides. It's 1050 KTBL and 1050talk.com. This segment is brought to you in part by Chispas Performance Solutions. Chispas Performance Solutions works with businesses and organizations to reduce the cost of doing business caused by ineffective or inadequate communication. They do this by providing customized on-site classes, conference keynote presentations, breakout sessions, and much more. Schedule your free consultation today at chispasperformancesolutions.com or call 505-899-9130. My next guest this morning is Chris Rainey with Soul Acting Academy. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I'm glad you're here. So tell us what you all do at Soul Acting Academy.
We act.
How fun. Okay, segment's over.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Nice.
We are actually doing much more than that. We're really getting people to get out there and make their own content, make their own films, and we're really focusing in on film and TV for our classes. Yeah. And we have an open actor gym coming up on Friday, May 18th, and that's from 6 to 8. Actually, we're going to start doing these every Friday, and they're $25, so that gets you in the door. You can see what we're doing. A real cheap class to get you in and see how great we are.
Yeah, well, and that's a great idea, because I imagine there might be people, especially as the film and television industry is continuing to grow in New Mexico. There may be people that have that idea of, oh, that would be so great, and they don't know the behind the scenes.
Indeed, yeah.
But may want to get their feet wet a little bit.
Right, it's a perfect place to start. In fact, I'd wish I had found this place when I first started out.
Right.
To be honest, yeah. I'd probably be a lot further than I am now, but yeah, all right.
Timing's everything. Maybe it wasn't the right time, right?
That's right. You're exactly right.
So in terms of the actor gym, what ages are available to go?
6 to 99.
Okay.
Yeah, it's for everybody. It's really, if you are an existing actor, you should come as well, because then we'll work on specifically tailored for what you need to work on, really.
Nice.
So, yeah.
And so Soul Acting Academy has been around for a little while, but why don't you give us some background about where it started and where it is today and what your role in the whole organization is?
Okay. I believe it was started back in 2009 by Laura Mathis, and then it transferred over to Vivian Nesbitt. And last year, 2017, we were approached by Vivian, and she needed to go back to the East Coast and focus on her plays and her one-woman acts, and she offered it to me to buy it, and kind of started as a joke. Hey, you want to buy an acting school? Yeah, actually. Yeah, I think we will. So Ron and I talked about it. We had been doing the open actor for 7 years in town, and we needed a home, so we said, yeah, why not? And so we got the money together and we bought it. And we've been going gangbusters ever since. It's been crazy.
Well, it's one of those things, I think, as you and I were talking offline before the segment, that when something's meant to be, things just fall into place,
They
right?
do. Yep, just like dominoes, just done.
Right.
Yeah, it's great.
So tell our listeners what your personal background is. Like, how did you get into this world, and how did you come to, own an acting school?
Okay. Well, when I was 5, my father got me into a theater, a production with the Missoula Children's Theater, and we lived in Montana. And I was in The Wizard of Oz as a poisonous flower.
Nice.
And that's when I got my bug. And so every time they came into town, which was 2-3 times a year, I was in theater. I was doing it. And then in high school, I joined drama, the drama club, and speech and debate, and went to state, got 3rd place in state. It's just been my blood. My dad was an actor, so my grandfather was an actor, so we just kind of fell into it. And it was all plays, all theater, until my mother and father-in-law, I'd been done with construction for a while, and I just really tired of it and doing theater on the side. And my mother and father-in-law says, hey, why don't you come to New Mexico? They're doing a lot of film here. I was like, right.
I think that's most people's reaction initially.
New Mexico. I'm going to go to L.A. And then I went to L.A. and I was like, oh, no, I don't want to go there. I'm a Montana boy. L.A. scares me. So I took them up on the offer, and we came, and we checked it out. And I was like, you realize I'm going to be a poor, starving actor, and you're going to have to support me, right? And they did. Love them to death. And so, yeah, I got into my first movie as a background player, on urban justice. It was Steven Seagal film. I thought I'd hit the big time. This was it, boy. And I don't know, over 300 films later, now I'm co-starring in films and TV shows. I've been on Breaking Bad. Just a lot of stuff. And now I own an acting school. So, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, isn't it? And one of those things, I think, as you mentioned, that it's in your blood, that even if you try not to do it, it's one of those things that it finds you or it just follows you.
Yep. It will. Yep. I put it on the pause button and went for construction, and I still came creeping back.
Right.
It grabs you.
Well, and now you get to share your wealth of knowledge with other people that are wanting to get in, either as a serious actor, if there's such a thing.
Yes, there is.
Right. Yep. But what I mean is, that idea you and I were talking before. I mean, I'm also an actor. We're actually both represented by the same talent agency.
Right.
And it's that idea of, well, I'm an actor, but I'm really an auditioner. And then when I book a part, I'm an actor, right?
That is so true. You just go into an audition, do your performance, and forget about it. You're done.
Right.
That's your job.
Right.
Right. Until you get in the theater, and then you can actually, do a real performance.
Right. And then you're meeting the people at the back of the room. And
that's right. Having a good time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But just, being able to share that with people that are wanting to get in and be serious, but to let them know, okay, there's a lot of downtime, and there's a lot of, you have to have faith in your craft and being able to get coached and all of those things that go into it that I think people may not realize.
I run into it all the time. It's like, I've taken a class in acting, I'm good. No, it's much like basketball. You just don't go out on the court and know how to play basketball unless you're really good. And then even then, you're still having to practice every day, every weekend, right? It's the same thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, folks, if you're just tuning in, my second guest this morning is Chris Rainey with Soul Acting Academy. And so he was sharing some of his background in terms of getting into his current role as the owner and head actor at Soul Acting Academy. So why don't you give our listeners your contact information in case they might be interested in the actor gym or anything else that you have going on?
Great. It's real easy. info@soulacting.com is the email. And it's soulacting.com. And we can also be found on Facebook at Soul Acting.
And is there a phone number
SOL.
for people that prefer just, old standard conversations over the phone?
I'm very bad and
okay, no, that's cool, because I know I've had some clients or some guests that come on and say, nope, we don't do anything over the phone, it's all digital or it's all online.
Right.
So that's the world we live in.
Yeah, most of our stuff is online. So if you go onto our website, we have all the classes listed. You can register right there, pay right there, the whole 9 yards.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
Excellent. So going back to the whole idea of your background and bringing all of that wealth of knowledge to the academy now, tell us what someone would be best bringing to the table, if you will. Let's say that they're wanting to test the waters and see if this acting thing is for them. What would you recommend they bring to the table when they first show up?
$25 to the open actor gym.
Behind that, in addition to the $25, I guess I'm thinking in terms of mindset.
Just have an open mind and expect anything, because that is acting. It's life is a stage, right? So you never know what you're going to expect, or you can't expect anything. It's just like life.
Right.
So come in with an open mind and an open heart and be willing to just release. And don't be embarrassed in front of other people. And that's really it. And if you can open your mind, heart, soul up to other people, then you're in. It's just that easy.
Well, and I'm glad you said that about bringing an open mind. One of the things that I've recommended to some of my clients when I'm doing a public speaking class or coaching people one-on-one for their presentation skills is that idea for open-mindedness with regard to receiving feedback. Because I think some people have it in their head that they have a certain skill level. And when you try to provide feedback, they are closed-minded and say, oh, well, that's not true, or that's not what somebody else told me. And so then we run into that wall and they don't grow.
That's right. I kind of went down that road myself because, 35 years as a theater actor, I had never been turned down for a part in theater, ever. And so I auditioned for my first role in film, which is very different, right?
Right.
And lo and behold, I didn't even get a call back. And I was like, oh,
humble pie.
Right? Eating a lot of crow on that one. And so I started taking acting lessons. And, yeah, it's very different than theater, surprisingly.
Yes.
So, yeah, you just got to keep an open mind.
Absolutely. Well, and I think that's true with life in general. But again, we can be our own worst enemy with that and think that we know it all. I often think about people that are on, the old American Idol with the feedback from Simon Cowell that is actually true and authentic or, genuine in terms of the business. And these are people that are just astonished because nobody ever told them
right.
that they couldn't sing. Or whatever, where if they had either received the honest feedback or been open to receiving it, they, might have done better or taken another line of work or whatever the case, right?
That's exactly right. And acting is just like singing. In fact, we're represented by SAG, so we're one and the same. And yeah, if there's always room to improve. Always. I'm still taking acting classes. Always. So it's just an ongoing thing for life, really.
Yeah, for sure. Well, folks, we actually have a bonus today. My third guest was a no-show today, so we're going to have Chris back in our next segment. So I'll let him give you his contact information again, and then we'll wrap the segment and go into a bonus segment after the break. So contact information.
Give you a whole bunch of classes that are coming up, I guess. Oui.
Yes. So soulactingacademy.com. And again, you're listening to BizDay New Mexico here on 1050 KTBL and 1050talk.com. I'm Krista Benavides. Stay tuned for more with Chris Rainey. Good morning. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome back. I'm Krista Benavides. It's BizDay New Mexico here on 1050 KTBL and 1050talk.com. This segment is brought to you in part by the Aceves Group at RE/MAX Select, your residential real estate professionals. Contact Santiago at 505-270-2662 or Jasmine at 505-417-1683 for all your residential real estate needs. So again, we're back with Chris Rainey from Soul Acting Academy, and he's going to share with us all the classes they have coming up. And you'll want to get your pen or paper or your phone or whatever ready to write them all down because there's a lot. And again, if this is something that maybe you've been thinking about in the past, just getting your feet wet into the world of acting, this is a great opportunity. Plus, even if it doesn't necessarily amount to booking a role on the next, film that's in town, it's a great way to meet people and to just better express yourself because you're tapping into a different part of you than you would normally.
Absolutely.
So what are the classes you all have coming up?
Well, the perfect one to step into is the Open Actor Gym, and we've started doing those every Friday from 6 to 8, and it's $25. You either go on to soulacting.com and register, or you can just pay at the door and come on in. I mean, $25, it's a pretty cheap way to find out if acting's for you or not.
That's a bargain.
It is a bargain. Yeah, no, it's 2 hours. So it's a 2-hour class, and we'll run you through the ringer for sure. So we make it so we overload you, so you have to come back to get all the details, right? I'll give all my secrets away.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's good because I think, again, just having been in the business myself for a little while, since 2002, actually.
Is that right?
Since 2002, yeah. Started in Colorado.
Wow, you've been in it longer than I have.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. But you've done more than I have.
Well,
I'm still getting my, my feet wet, I guess. I feel like I'm still new because I'm learning so much.
Yeah, it's a constant learning.
Right. Yeah. Well, and earlier when you talked about, the transition from theater to on-camera work, that was the case for me because as a professional speaker, it's very much like theater.
Right.
You have to be big. You want to reach the people at the back of the auditorium and you're, pontificating and gesticulating and you're just out there as big as you can possibly be.
Right.
On camera, It's all about bringing it in and being with that one, talking to that one person. And so that was a huge challenge for me initially.
Indeed. Me too. It took me years, actually, to figure that out and finally click and go, okay, so no big movements with my eyes, my eyebrows, my fingers, everything. The lips, everything. So picture yourself on a 6-foot screen, and that's all you see is your head. How much is that audience going to pick up when they see that?
Oh, yeah.
And every little eye flick, your eyelash movement, whatever, it's going to pick up. So that's an easy way to think about it. It's so different.
Right. Well, and that's why I recommend to my public speaking clients, or when I do classes on public or professional speaking, is to take an acting class, because so many of us, unless you're in that world, whether it's in speaking or acting, where people generally aren't familiar with how they present themselves, like what other people see. Right.
And the major thing in acting that we go through is listening. Plain and simple listening skills. And if you aren't listening, there's a whole bunch of different ways to listen. Body language is a great one. If you're putting off bad body language, you probably won't be approached and, be approachable. Yeah, there's lots of different ways to listen, but yeah, there's a little hint for all the acting students out there. Listen.
Right. Yeah, one of my coaches has a book called Listen, Feel, Respond.
Yes.
Because that's what it's all about. Yeah. And it translates to real life, because if you want to make a connection with someone, whether it's in business or personal, you have to first listen, capture the information, determine how you feel about it.
Right.
And then respond.
Wow, you just taught my class. There it is.
Oh, darn.
Well, I guess we're done here.
We're done.
Way to go. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. But there's definitely more than that, because again, as you said, it's that, you inundate people with all the information, and then the actual doing part of it is very different than just acquiring the knowledge.
Right. Yeah, you have to apply it. That's the tricky part. Yeah.
So what are the other classes that you have coming up? Because I know you have some for writers as well.
We do. We have some horror writing with Scotty Milder. He's like the king of the horror 48 film. He always wins. He's just amazing. Great director, writer, knows his horror, which is scary. He is on May 20th, which is Sunday, through July 15th. It's a 9-week course, and it's from 6 to 9. And we're also entwining that together with our on-camera class. This is for a little bit more advanced actors that have already done the foundations or the beginner classes, because we actually stick you on camera and teach you how to hit marks. And, you've got to remember what line you were saying when you put that cup down on that table.
So continuity.
Exactly. Huge continuity. And that's really tough, actually, to learn. So, and we're putting the horror writing and the on-camera class together. So the writers from the horror class are going to have our actors from the on-camera. We're going to blend them together, and they'll be actually doing scenes from the horror writing. I
love that.
It's amazing. Yeah. It's a good idea. That's Ron Weisberg, my partner, the other co-owner of Soul. That was his brainchild. Really good stuff. Love this guy.
Yeah, Ron's cool.
Yeah, he's great. We have Performance Dialects, Acting 101, 201, and our big 6-month class. This is the class that changes a lot of people's lives. We go it for 6 months, every week. And we go into everything. So it's a total encompassing of your career, if that's where you want to go into acting. If you want to make a career of it, I definitely suggest the 6 month.
And when does that one start?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask that.
Well, people just go to the website. And I gave the incorrect website earlier. It's actually soulacting.com, no academy in there. Correct. So soulacting.com. And so all the information is on the website.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It is. Oh my goodness. And that's just the adults.
Well, and I was just going to ask, I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm sure there are kids out there that want to, venture in, and summertime is coming up, and so they have some availability. So what kids classes do you have? Oh
my goodness. And we have so many camps going on. It's amazing. First of all, we have a free class coming up. I probably should mention the Soul Soirees as well. We do a free class every month, and you just come up and enjoy it, have fun. But we're also, for the youth class, we're having a free class with Ron and Jason. Jason Wheeler is our youth coordinator, and he's been doing classes for the youth program for quite a while now at Soul. And that's starting May 19th. Which is a Saturday from 2 to 4. We have the Soul News TV Camp, which is May 28th through June 1st from 9 to 3. This one's going to be really fun. I'm enrolling my 2 daughters in this one. But they'll actually be up there doing news reports for Soul.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah, we have Stephen Michael Casada. We're going to interview him. We have an officer, a sheriff, that we're going to interview. And we have various different people that we're going to interview throughout. And then we're going to go to UPublic, and we're going to use their set there, the official set for the news radio. Yeah, the news TV, and they'll be up there giving out the news in Albuquerque. It'll be a lot of fun.
How fun.
Yeah. Well,
listeners, if you're just tuning in to this third segment, it's a continuation, a bonus segment with Chris Rainey from Soul Acting Academy. And so he's sharing some of the classes that are coming up. And there are lots of classes. So your best bet is to go to soulacting.com.
Yep.
Check it out, because there are youth options available as well as adult options. There is actually a writing class that's being partnered or paired with an acting class. And so the acting classes are all on camera. You all don't really do theater as much, right?
No, we don't do a whole lot of we don't really touch on theater.
Okay.
Really, if you're a good film actor, you'll probably be pretty good in theater as well. And obviously it does take some time to get back and forth, but yeah, no, we're really doing on film and TV, but that doesn't necessarily mean you'll be on camera the whole time. Most of our classes do not involve on camera.
Okay,
unless it's our on camera class.
Right. Okay. And that's a good distinction, because, again, there may be people out there that are thinking, oh, I've always wanted to get into theater.
Right.
This wouldn't necessarily be the place to go, because, again, there is a big difference between acting for theater or for stage and on camera in terms of the, preparation. Although the translation piece, moving from one to the other, you'd still benefit, right?
Absolutely. Acting is acting. Really, it's feeling the empathy of a character. So if you're feeling the feelings that other person is feeling, you're doing great. That's acting. And if you're doing it, it doesn't matter what venue you're doing it for, theater, radio, as long as you're feeling.
Yes, we're feeling here on the air this morning.
Theater, you can go a little bit larger. Film, you go a little bit smaller. That's the difference.
Yeah. So. But I'm glad you made that distinction, because, smaller, but it doesn't mean less intensity.
Correct. Indeed. Yeah, it's all about active choices. You got to make it interesting for the audience, or they're going to flip the channel.
Exactly. So we have a couple of minutes left in this segment. So any additional thoughts that you want our listeners to make sure they have about Soul Acting Academy?
Well, we've got, I can go through the rest of the youth classes. There's a lot of camps: comedy showcase, music video camps, make a movie, film acting, teen actors camp, a Disney drama camp. We do private lessons, and we also have Tim Neninger, who does our taped auditions. So if you are an existing actor who needs to tape an audition for LA or wherever, he's great for that. I guess that's really about it.
That's not enough. I mean, there's a ton of information.
Much.
Yeah. And I've worked with Tim. So Tim is amazing. Very professional, very efficient.
And very kind.
Yes.
And puts you right at ease right into the audition. So that's what you need. Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I actually had an audition with him. He taped an audition for me last year, and it was for a production that was shooting in Dallas. And it was a really cool role because it was bilingual. It was a Spanish-English thing, but I was playing this, anti-drug vigilante kind of woman. She was like the head of this, her own thing, trying to get drugs out of Colombia and Bolivia, and La Capitana was the role, but I didn't get it, but it was such a blast.
So
anyway.
You do speak Spanish?
Yes.
I'm going to have to write your name down.
Yes, write my name down.
I'm also a producer.
Oh, nice. We will talk offline.
Indeed.
Excellent. Well, folks, thank you so much for tuning in this morning. This is our third segment. I'll be right back with the show wrap-up. I'm Krista Benavides. It's BizDay New Mexico here on 1050 KTBL and 1050talk.com. I'll be right back. Good morning, Albuquerque. Good morning, New Mexico. Good morning, wherever you're listening this morning. I'm Krista Benavides. It's BizDay New Mexico here on 1050 KTBL and 1050talk.com. So we had two great guests this morning. And so the first one, get your appetite ready because you're going to want to visit Kaylin Johnson Bay at Kaylin's Southern and Cajun Fusion. And boy, she talked about some fantastic options that she offers at her restaurant located in Rio Rancho. It's 4330 Ridgecrest Drive, and it's in the Albertsons Shopping Center, just off 528. There's also a Target and other, those would be the two landmarks, the Target and the Albertsons there. And she's open Wednesday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 8:30. And coming up is her monthly breakfast. So they serve lunch and dinner the rest of the time, Wednesday through Saturday. But every month she has a monthly breakfast that features some items she doesn't normally have. And that's coming up on May 19th. So make sure that you show up. She says that she has people that get there about 15 minutes before they open so that they can get their goodies and have a seat and all of that. So again, visit her, tell your friends and neighbors about it. It's a great opportunity for you to try some different cuisine and then maybe even have her come and cater an event that you might have coming up this summer, graduations and anniversaries and all of those fantastic family events. I also had Chris Rainey. We had two great segments with Chris, and good thing because there was so much information that he had to share. So it was Chris Rainey with Soul Acting Academy. And the first thing that you'll want to note, if you've ever thought about getting into acting, take advantage of their open actor gym. And they have one coming up on May 18th. It's only $25. It's 2 hours worth of acting lessons and classes and information. And it's a great way to get your feet wet. You may see all the productions that are going on here in New Mexico and think that you might want to go into that world. So check it out. It's a great opportunity, again, just to see what you think of, being in the acting world, as well as to meet some interesting people. And as I mentioned, I often recommend to my public speaking clients, as well as classes that I do on communication, that taking an acting class is always a benefit. You just get to know yourself better, how you're coming across to people, especially, as Chris mentioned, from a nonverbal standpoint. What are you communicating with your face and your hands and your body? I often share with my clients that we each are walking billboards. So what message are you selling? How are you communicating with the people with whom you interact? If you're not aware of how you're coming across to other people, you can't really change your messaging. And if you're in a job interview, if you're wanting to make a good first impression when you meet your girlfriend or your boyfriend's family, all of those things, you need to know how you're coming across just from a visual standpoint. So that's a way that you can check it out. They also have a ton of other classes, whether you're into writing, acting on film. They have a 6-month class if you're really wanting to up-level your skills, because acting is where you want to make your career. And so all the information is available at Soul Acting, and that's S-O-L, like Sol, sun in Spanish, S-O-L, acting.com. And that's the best place to find out information. If you want to specifically contact Chris or Ron, you can email them at info@soulacting.com. And one of the great things that I love about this show, doing this show every week, is meeting people like Chris, meeting people like Kaylin, because as I mentioned during, I think it was Kaylin's segment, about the passion. BizDay New Mexico is about giving you a sneak peek and an introduction to the people that are behind the businesses and organizations in New Mexico. And so often when you turn on the news, even the radio, you hear all the bad things that are going on. It's, and in journalism, there's the phrase that if it bleeds, it leads. And so unfortunately, that's what gets people's attention. And so I love doing this show because it's not about that. It's about what's making our community a better place to be. And one of the best places that you can spend your dollars is on local businesses. It goes right back into the community. And so both Kaylin and Chris are hiring local individuals. They're keeping the money local. It is helping create opportunities for other people, as well as help them reach their goals and dreams. I mean, they have families that they're putting through school and buying things for, and so they're also putting their money back into the community. So it's just a positive cycle that we want to keep going. So if you know of a business, or you have one, or an organization that you think would be a good fit for BizDay New Mexico, please let me know. Contact me at 505-899-9130. I also have the BizDay New Mexico Facebook page up and running, so you can find BizDay New Mexico on Facebook. Send me a message. I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. And I also want to know your feedback. So feel free to go online. Let me know what you think about the show. If you have recommendations, I'm always open to feedback. It's about, as Chris said, learning and growing every single day.